My name's Charles Pierce III. I am from Camden, New Jersey, and I'll be performing Silhouette of a Dream. Everybody who had money already left. Everybody who stayed died. Spirits wander this wasteland. Souls beat till they teary-eyed. Seems like being born is our only crime. Sentenced to solitary confinement in the upper corridors of our mind. These kids ain't safe either. Just the other day, somebody excavated a dead baby from a dilapidated building. Gentrification quick to hide the evidence. No bones left behind. There's an urgency now. We're in a valley in the shadow of death and can't climb. Everybody got either rusted or broken crowns. These dreams all we got, but these dreams don't make a sound. So with this voice interlaced with God, I declare the urgency of now. You can be broken, but be unbowed. Become the light that you know exists beyond the pit. Now's the time for your spine to be fully erected. Victory happens when we declare it. Break the curses that we inherit. What is God? Feel like the black on my body. What is gold? Feel like the love all inside me. What is God? Feel like the black on my body. What is gold? Feel like the love all inside me.
The title of this piece is called Don't Shoot. Hey officer, I'm only 17. Didn't ask to be this color, please don't take my life from me. I wanna make it out, don't wanna die inside these streets. I have a family and if you take me, they'll be weak. Dear officer, I have the right to remain silent. Anything I say can and will be used against me in the court of law. I have a right to an attorney. And if I cannot afford one, one will be provided for me. I get it now. You want my life. I talk too much, so you want me silent. Silenced, I can't stand up for my rights. Like black skin don't fight. Like my people not light. Despite all of this darkness, we didn't ask for any of this. Never wanted to statistic our pain in and out of existence. You were supposed to keep us safe. Be a savior to the people, not command us with the kill switch. Got them calling you a sharpshooter and praising like you Cupid. When you just shattered all of my dreams and my family's, then left me out here shell-shocked. Guess it was a twist of fate. Mad the Hardys couldn't save me. I was supposed to be somebody. You were supposed to spare me, not air me out. I had plans. I was gonna buy my mom her house. Now I can't go home. And I'm all alone with my name on my tombstone, you innocent life taker. Red, white, and blue troublemaker. You're one hell of a code breaker. Is it a backstabber? My blood splattered. My life mattered. Welcome to Hell's Gates. Commanded by a pedigree. Descendant from heaven just to punish all your dirty deeds. Falling rose petals on the concrete. You're one stone cold killer. I didn't want to go to sleep. Never asked for you to make me. Guess we're all at a crossroads and God's ready to take me. I see there's trouble in paradise. Looks like another knockout, but I can't get up. Lifeless in the streets I wanted to get out of. Motionless against the movement I wanted us to move on from. Apologize to my family. They didn't deserve this. I put my hands up. All you saw was a moving target. You target all of my brothers. Profit off empty pockets. Claiming you saw a weapon. Swearing I must have dropped it. Mischievous, misplaced, misguided man. You didn't have to pop me or drop me. I promise I would have listened. I've been learning from past mistakes. And just like the walls of Jericho, I wish this foundation of hate would break. It's a mistake. It's been misplaced. And how do you expect me to live for something when you keep making us fall for anything? So again, hey officer, please don't shoot. I have a sister back at home that I need to get home to. She's expecting me, and I promise to help her with her math. Neither one of us expected this day to be my last.
I say the urgency of now is understanding that right now is more than right now. Right now is everything we have, but it's also the result of everything that we used to have. And it's how we play our cards. It's how we decide to assemble, how we decide to move, how we think, how we feel, how we grow. That decides what comes next. But those are all the decisions that we make here in the now. And I think us making these kinds of decisions and becoming these kinds of people, that's the most urgent thing that we can ask for right now.
I believe to be self-determination of our people throughout our collective relationship with this country, Too many times, our hope has been diminished. Who we feel, who we are as a people have been diminished, and we have to get back to reclaiming our love for ourselves, our pride. That be the motivating factor behind how we grow as a people, and let that love and collective light shine, and be our torch to get us through these trying times. Because as we've seen these last couple weeks throughout this pandemic, the world has been really crazy, and we have to get together and fortify ourselves so that way we can be braced for whatever comes our way, and we can be stronger when it's time to come out of it.
The importance of the urgency of now is being heard. I firmly believe that art starts a conversation. And I think that, especially now, in our current situation, our nation needs to heal. Our nation needs to recognize the humanity within every single one of its citizens. And I really just feel that we need to begin living life with intention. If you have a gift that you've been given, making sure that you are using it to the best of your ability, making sure that you are honoring yourself, you're honoring that gift and getting it out there. And yeah, using it for shedding light on those difficult topics as they come. And I feel that with that, those important conversations will rise to the surface.
No, please don't sever my wings. I'm still learning to fly. I ask this as your son, well aware of your run-in with thin air and the sun, stifling your pride, your wings melting in the sky. But in spite of the complications from the navigation of your last flight, I feel so deeply inspired that I have to ask twice, so please don't sever my wings. I'm still yearning to try. Don't sever my wings. I'm still learning to fly. And by fly, I mean casting convention aside and choosing a life of questioning why. Determined to comprehend the way that everything works in a realm where it feels like everything hurts. And knowing that this world remains sick, but being committed to finding a way to embrace it. And this method is really ancient. It's archaic. At a point in time, to all of us, it was basic. I guess what I want to articulate is never underestimate the power of that macaroni sculpture hanging on your fridge, or the years of inspiration that it will bring to your kid, because the way you talk about your favorite painting might just inspire the next Banksy. Or riding home with jams playing on your favorite station might just inspire the next Frankie. And frankly, this childlike sense of wonder should never be left asunder, because the belief that nothing is impossible should be protected however possible. Because creativity is the only way we'll ever learn to see evenly. And as it stands right now, without a hashtag or a fancy brand, we're not even creative enough to understand. And we're not creative enough to love people for how they are, or to love people who come from afar. And we're not creative enough to feel accomplished without being some kind of star, or to feel like we have something without the big house and the fancy car. And we're not creative enough to share our resources with those less fortunate, and we're not creative enough to get resources without going to war again. And we're not creative enough to even take care of our planet, because when we look around, all we see is it being taken for granted. And so our feet should really never be planted. Let us take flight, us Icarian contrarians, us children of Icarus, and let us heal the world with all of the things that have been killing us. Combating any and all things villainous and materialist with a positive stimulus in hopes that the next in line to mimic us or start to scheme on something ridiculous. And I know that you're probably tired of hearing this, because you've got no choice but to not mind that 45-minute drive up and down 295 just to get to and from your 9 to 5. Because your generation did everything it took just to provide. But cast those fears aside and let your dreams reside inside the pride that you invested in me. And although we've had our times that we've contested, you'll see the joy that others that my freedom can bring. So maybe one day when I take flight with these colorful wings, I can inspire someone else's first episode. But that'll only be exposed if I'm composed to go down this road. But that begins with the love that you show. So please don't sever my wings, and I will carry you with me everywhere I go.
Can you hear me? The Echoes of my bolstered cry forces a quake to quiet my growing near hopes. Though it seems premature, you have given provision, supplying fodder for our vision. My tears, they amplify my determination for my destiny to come to fruition. But it's been too long. My journey of 40 days and nights have left their scars of heavy loves, missteps, and an uphill climb. But can you hear me? The dust that takes flight matches my fight, and I'm not close to letting go. And so I continue with all of my might.
I gave you my all. Long nights and early mornings, I worked days on end. Broken bones and shed skin, I graveled in the dirt, withstood the floods, and I grew from the weeds. Just to be like you. I tried to become your mirror image, no matter how tall I became, no matter how wide I stretched my arms to reach you, I could never reach you. Before my demise, my head and my eyes were almost sky high, but it was never enough. Being your namesake was never enough. I couldn't glow like you. Seemed like my rise was seasonal to your eternal. You know, I never bowed my head to pray until I realized I was going to die. The weight on my shoulders too much. My head arched like the earth horizons bends forward. It wasn't until I understood that you gave me life, but you never held my destiny. My future was within. I learned my failures from those before me. My death will give life to future generations of my likeness. I will rest between the roses and the bushy evergreens. I will feed the earth, and the birds will sing of my legacy. You're my namesake. You are sun, and I am sunflower. Thank you.
I've got to stay connected to our youth. I've got to stay connected to our youth. I've been to countless funerals of teenagers and 20-something-year-olds, and that indescribable feeling of pain never gets old. I dread seeing the faces of their parents and grandparents as they lay their flowers on top of their caskets, and then attempting to comfort them as they try to regroup from their loved ones' unfortunate passings. I've got to stay connected to our youth and inform them that death is the only thing that you can't come back from. That there's nothing cool about living or dying by the gun, leaving your parents crying helplessly over the deceased bodies of their most prized possessions. That you're worth much more than being touched by the bullets of guns. Worth much more than the demeaning words told to you by some of your loved ones. That to the ways of the streets that you do not have to succumb, and that there are so many more ways to live your life besides this one. I've got to show them that part of maturing means sometimes walking away from a situation before more damage can be done. You're better than all of that mess, young man. You're better than all of that mess, young lady. I'm begging you, please stay connected with me and other role models who think similarly, and allow us to inspire you to become the kings and queens that God has created you to be.
Invalidate me. Take the stool from which I stand upon and stab me till I bleed. Call me a weak complainer because you failed to help me breathe. Ignore all the pain you caused and wash it away with a simple phrase. I didn't mean it that way. And the masses forgive the unforgiven. Invalidate me and call me and make my existence nothing but a punchline, as my reality is just a lot of punches I've had to take. Invalidate me and call me invaluable because you cannot profit off my pain. Bloodstains and teardrops don't seem to be the same, so don't compare a name with a slur I've come in contact with for far too long when I was far too young. Invalidate the boys who've had to cut the hair because of your perception of gender becoming a norm, and the girls who've had to hate the skin they were blessed with because of your perception of beauty. Invalidate the deaf ears you claim to have when we scream for a better quality of life, and the blind eyes you gain as you ignore the injustices in your own backyard. Invalidate the voices that dare read this poem for living in this reality is like walking through an ocean of alcohol when your body is ridden with wounds. From every direction, there's a copious amount of invalidation of the discrimination that we contribute to every single day.
I raise my fist power to my people. Please don't give your powers to the evil. I plead because I need you. I need you like a fiend needs a needle, like the dope needs the fiend to be lethal. I'm redeeming every soul that's been sold under oath. Suffocate because your throat is in hold of a choke. Run away until your lungs will explode. Don't trip, cause 666 is right behind us with a chip. Don't try it. Diet, riot. Or riot on a tyrant. Use the power of a Christ all your life you have been hiding. Surviving off the thoughts of the one you will be fighting. Develop fist of iron right now is perfect timing. Money, power, respect. Put a coward in debt. He will never realize the power that he possess. Trapped in 4 walls so the 4 won't connect. All the toxins that he's given, that's the reason that he's sick. Loopholes smaller than a stitch. Keep your hold on your hoe until they fall into a ditch. Run a hose so they slip on a slick tip. Your quick lips fall into misfits. Flip each story that's shown to the public. Positive, cut it, fearing evil, what's the budget? Trick them into thinking that they really, really want it. So they buy it, and they try it. Once they try it, they gon' need it. If you tell them that it's good for them, I bet they gon' believe it. If you broadcast it's bad, that's the way they will perceive it. Genius. Matter of fact, make the Coke sweeter. Enhance it with the flavor from the cell of a fetus. Genius. iPhone needs another feature. Let's call this one the 12, then ship it to the people. His phone and her phone are iPhones, they're equal. Since my phone is Windows, I see through the evils.
One of the main issues that is very urgent, that needs attention right now, is uprooting those roots of racism. It tends to be shunned away from. We tend to not talk about it too much, or should I say, we tend to not take as much action towards uprooting that as we should. A nation that's divided is going to implode. We see some of that recently. We've seen it in recent years. We've seen it in the last few hundreds of years of what the effects of racism can be. So that's one of my main issues I think needs to be really addressed.
For me, I would say the urgency of now. I just really want I feel like our black men need to be loved out loud by more people. There's an understanding that they don't really have it so great in today's society.
The urgency of now is letting outward and sometimes hidden discrimination slide by so easily. Because letting small stuff slide by just brings the snowball effect to letting large groups of the uprise of alt-right groups in America. That's the most pressing situation going on right now.
I think the urgency of now is understanding as activists, as students, that you don't have to be Martin Luther King or Malcolm X, these bigger than life figures that are like the sun. That as long as you grow in yourself, that you will give life to the next generation and you inspire.